Hi, my name is Yinka Boudreau, and I'm going to be your English 2 CTL for the 2017-2018 school year. Bear with me. This is my first time doing this, so hopefully I get better as I go. So here at Luna, we have a running joke in our English department, and it is about a scholar who wrote an essay for Mr. Diddy. And in this essay, he said, the author used diction. Great! Insert straight face here. Yes, the author did use diction, so the scholar is correct in that fact. But how did the author use diction? Why did the author use diction? What was the purpose? In this unit, our goal is to educate our scholars in the art of rhetoric. Our scholars should be able to eloquently verbalize both the why and how an author communicates. This is our unit plan for our first unit. It's going to be based on rhetorical analysis and nonfiction. You're going to have about 15 lessons with one flex day. However, that flex day will be dependent on your own individual classroom. The first page of our unit plan is extremely important because it's the structure that our entire unit is going to be based on. The global context, key and related concepts are the ideas that are going to help our unit stand. The statement of inquiry is going to be the fuel that will power each of our individual lessons. I believe that it's critical that our scholars understand what rhetoric is and how it's used. Our statement of inquiry is everything is an argument, whether explicitly stated or implied. This is a concept that can apply regardless of the situation our kids find themselves in, whether it's in a different classroom or somewhere in their personal lives. I believe that if they can recognize the big three, perspective, purpose, and audience imperative, they'll be able to succeed in this unit. Our factual inquiry questions are pretty much facts that our kids need to know in order for them to be able to claim that they have mastered our unit. So, of course, we have ethos, pathos, and logos. What exactly is rhetoric? What sensory language? And how does the author use it? These are things that our kids are going to need to know. The conceptual questions are questions that they'll discover as they're going through the unit, and their different types of understanding that they'll gain throughout it. Lastly, we have our debatable question. Our kids should be able to go back to this question, and as they go through the different articles and different short stories that we read, they should be able to answer these questions. A good debatable question is something that each of our scholars can have a specific position on that they can argue either for or against. As far as our teaks, I'm not going to go through and read them out to you all because they're very easily found and they don't vary that much. I do want to note that we are going to have reading, writing, and grammar teaks. As far as our grammar teaks, I'm not doing a standalone unit in which I'm going to explicitly teach grammar. Rather, I'm going to embed that into the different types of lessons that we do throughout the unit. As far as the performance task for Unit 1, I will be talking about that in a later part of this unit preview, so please hold on to that and any questions that you have. When it comes to how to differentiate in your class, it's not going to be a one-size-fits-all because our scholars are all different human beings. I have given a list of some of the strategies that I utilize in my classroom. Please feel free to look at these. You'll also have some if you look in your course structure as well as in your resource bank. I use think-alouds a lot. I'm low-key obsessed with them. I believe that it's important to model the behavior you want your scholars to replicate. When they see you do the work while working alongside you, it leaves very little room for confusion. Rhetoric is not a new idea. It's one that's been around and being used since ancient Greece. We want our scholars to be able to understand what rhetoric is and how it's impacting them in their lives on a daily basis. We'll be utilizing our textbook as well as Kylene Beers and Robert Prost, reading nonfiction, notice and notes, signposts, and strategies. In fact, we start off our unit doing the signposts. Get this book. It is extremely, extremely, extremely good, and it's a great way to teach our scholars how to close read. We then move into ACEs and paragraph structure. With that, this is how our scholars are going to be writing paragraphs in our class for the entire school year. It's important that we start off the year giving them that foundation so that they're able to work off of it. From there, we move into tone, utilizing the plot against people. That will be found in your textbook. They'll be able to analyze the role of syntax and diction to determine their tone and message in literary nonfiction. We move to being able to determine author's purpose, utilizing Why Leaves Turn Color in the Fall. We also look at graphic aids when we are reading how a leaf works and how to plant a tree. Again, these two will be found in your textbook. I've attached the page numbers. We're going to move into how writers utilize appeals. Our text that will be utilized is Rap Lyrics on Trial. I will attach that in your resource bank. From there, we're going to move into visual rhetoric. So we'll be looking at comics and how those are being used. We will also look at satire, utilizing the articles that are on the side. We will then move into pathos and how it's used in I Acknowledge Mine, and then the use of animals in biomedical research. These two texts will be the foundation for their assessment task because they will have to determine their position based off of that. Lastly, we end with a star-style persuasive essay based off of those two previous articles that I mentioned, and scholars will have to write based off of their opinion.
You know your scholars better than I do, so if you're looking at our unit plan and you know it won't work for you, feel free to change out the articles. Our concept is clear, so it'll be easy to change out texts.
So just a few reflections that I had while creating and doing Unit 1. Well, prior to teaching the unit, it was really important to me that our scholars were able to understand what argument appeals and rhetorical devices are. I want them to be able to see how rhetoric and persuasive techniques are used every single day and how it affects them and how they can build off of that. I also want them to see that these devices are employed not only in fiction or in the things that bombard them every day, but also in nonfiction, and being able to do so, they will be able to answer AP Lang and composition type essays. Instead of saying the author used diction, they'll be able to tell us how the author used diction and why that said author used diction. Scholars are encouraged to be reflective, inquirers, and thinkers, and each assessment is created in such a way that they're able to do so. And lastly, when it comes to data collection for my scholars, I do it throughout the unit using a combination of both formative and summative assessments. With that, I'm able to actively monitor how they're comprehending the skills being taught. And if they're not understanding something that I need them to understand, I am giving myself the leeway and the grace to be able to reteach something that I may have already taught.
For our unit assessment, we'll do something more creative and more project-based. However, for this first summative assessment, I chose a traditional STAR-style essay. The STAR persuasive essay is something that our kids are not going to be able to escape. So because of this, I like to introduce it early on. Doing so gives me a baseline that can help me determine where they are at this point. Then I'll take that data and I'll use that to help me determine how I'll go about teaching the persuasive essay for the rest of the year. Our Unit 1 assessment task will be graded utilizing criterion B, C, and D, organizing, producing text, and utilizing language, and will be based on a 0 to 8 grading scale.
All right. Time for the song and dance.
I don't know what to say, really.
We aren't exactly winning any popularity contests here.
All season long, you've been laughed at, crapped on.
We've been clowns. We've been goons.
What is wrong with you? What's wrong with all of you?
It's real simple.
You guys stink.
You look like a bunch of fifth-grade sissies after a cat fight.
You guys are playing like this is some throwaway game up in Rochester.
You're losers.
Are you crying?
No.
There's no crying in baseball.
Are you ready to get down to business and do exactly what I tell you to do?
Let's get back to basics.
Wax on,
right hand. Backs off, left hand.
I want you to play dirty if you have to, but don't get caught.
Go for the ribs. Don't let that bastard breathe.
Concentrate, focus, power. Remember balance. Make cool fight.
Keep your heads up. Play proud.
You shouldn't have any doubt in your mind about what you're supposed to do tonight and about how you're supposed to do it.
It's all in the head. Yeah, it's all in the head.
The inches we need are everywhere around us. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch.
If you put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential, to be the best that you can be.
You do those things, gentlemen, and I guarantee you, at the end of the game, we will be there.
We will be perfect.
This is your opportunity to rise from these ashes and grab glory.
And win just one for the Gipper.
You can do it. I believe in you.
This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
What?
Now, a lot of coaches will be giving you one of those win one for the Gipper speeches. I'm not good at that stuff. Instead, I thought I'd lead you in a psalm of inspiration. Our Father, who art in Calgary, bobsled be thy name.
May our bats be mighty. May our balls be plentiful.
Thy kingdom come, gold medals won, on earth as it is in turn 7.
Help him see it all the way through. Okay, that's it.